guys, Jay here. Welcome to Models Memories Weekly, episode 178. Models Memories is a show about nothing and is filmed in front of a live studio audience. This is a show where we're talking about painting, modeling, and working experiences from the week. Now you might be thinking to yourself, Jay, you put out 3 DVDs a week. How? Could I possibly have more to say? Well, I do, and here goes. This week, Games Workshop showed off the last of the new Blood Angels, a ton of Skaven models, and also a ton of miniatures for the Warriors of Chaos. And there's something new coming on the horizon tomorrow, but we don't know what that is. But you know, we do know what it is. That's right, our website. Our website is the place to be to support us doing what we do, and we have some new merch there. We have EonsOfBattle dice. It comes in Nick flavor and J flavor. The J flavor is the superior flavor, but there is also Nick flavor for the Nick enjoyers out there. And on our website, you can get a membership, which is very similar to Patreon, but much better. Instead of getting the new terrain every single month, you get a credit. That can be spent on the new terrain that we come out this month, or it can be spent on any previous terrain pack we have ever made. For the month of August, subscribers can get the Clone expansion, a part 2 to our spaceship interior with new wall sections for building out the grisly facilities of a cloning laboratory, complete with examination/autopsy tables, cloning bays, and new doors. And the cloning doesn't stop there. The clone towers are macabre monoliths drooping with pods full of fresh recruits or test subjects, depending on the needs of the mad scientists who operate them. And also on our websites, for the next week, we are doing a 10% sale on our t-shirts and sweatshirts if you shop with the code MMW10. Games Workshop has been slowly showing us off all of the new Primaris Blood Angels for the new Blood Angels Codex, and some of them have been like, pretty good, and some of them have been kinda okay. And I think these two, I guess these two new units are kind of on the lower end of the spectrum. Oh, I don't know. The Sanguinor is really cool. He is really, really good. His armor looks amazing. The paint job that they're showing off in the articles is incredible. I'm guessing that most people aren't going to do flawless non-metallic metal. So it's definitely showing off the sculpt in like perfect light, but it does look really cool. I don't know about the giant parchments that are coming off of him and going into the ground. They did the same thing with the Saint Celestine model, and Saint Celestine is like inappropriate for a miniature. Like, it's so bouncy. The one tiny little purity seal connecting her to the base, that's super long. You move that model an inch and it just wobbles for like the rest of the game. It can't be that way. So I think building it up like this probably makes this guy much more solid, but it is at least have a little bit of wiggle or a little bit of wrinkles to the paper, because they are just perfect receipt papers stabbing right into the ground. At least have a little bundle at the bottom. It does look a tiny bit odd, but he does look really, really good. Now, one thing that I was really hoping for, and then we got it, is the new Sanguinary Guard. I like the Sanguinary Guard a lot. They're really, really cool. The old models are old, but they still looked really cool. Like the idea of them was amazing. The golden armored space marines dripping with details, winged jump packs and all sorts of interesting weapons, the death masks of Sanguinius. And people have been doing really cool kit bashes with like the jump pack, like taking the weapons and the jump packs and like the arms and putting them on Stormcast Eternal models. And that looks really, really good. So Games Workshop has come out with the official Primaris version of these guys. They're okay. They're fine, I guess. Number one, no nipples. That's a problem. That's a problem. I kind of let it slide on the last couple of releases, but these guys should have nipples, and they don't have nipples, and that is a problem. They kind of just look like Assault Intercessors with jump packs. Because they're kind of just Assault Intercessors with jump packs, they have a little like dick tabard each, which is kind of something. Their death masks are fine. They look about the same as the old death masks, but I kind of wish they had something. Like, I think previously each death mask was slightly unique. And then some of them had like the little teardrop coming off the eye of Sanguinius when he was killed by Horus, where these are just copy paste the exact same face. And the jetpack. It's almost a joke. that instead of big, beautiful, angelic wings, we get a picture of a wing on each grab chute. That's not a wing. Games Workshop, that's not a wing. Just something that looks a little wingy on a grab chute does not make a wing. They're okay. They're fine. But they're not, like, I feel like out of all of the unique, like, units for Space Marines, like the Inner Circle Companions for the Dark Angels were excellent. The Black Templar Sword Brethren Squad was amazing. Like, those kits are so cool. I could see tons of other chapters of Space Marines buying those and then just making them into their own stuff. These guys, I don't know. There's nothing to them. Also very strange that they used to be squads of 5 to 10, I guess 4 to 10, but now they're gonna be squads of 3 to 6, probably? I don't get why there's only 3 now instead of 5. It don't make no sense. I don't know, they're acceptable, but I can't imagine, you know, what existed before versus what this is. I think they would look much better if you took the old jetpacks and put them onto these guys, which is probably not that hard a conversion to do. Probably put your old guys in the fridge, let the freezer kind of make the plastic glue brittle, and then you just snap that off and glue it to these guys. I think that would help a ton. They're just okay. But you know what's much better than okay? The models that they made for Age of Sigmar. Holy Clan Rats Batman. Like, holy cow. So for some reason, they were doing a thing where you could vote. You take the little QR code that came in the Vermintide box, and then you can either vote, did your Stormcast win the battle or did the Skaven win the battle? And somehow it was Skaven by a landslide. The Skaven won so hard, but they got so many new models. I thought they would get like 3 or 4. They got, I don't know how, 8? They got so many new things. And boom, first thing on the article is Vizic Score, Prophet of the Horned Rat. I'm not a big fan of the Horned Rat model. It came out kind of during the end times of Warhammer Fantasy Battles, and it's okay, but it's a little bit too symmetrical, a little bit too proportional, a little bit weenie for a god being. This guy is glorious. I love how misshapen his horns are. I love the little like roby things he's got coming off of him like a bishop. Like, he's so creepy. I love his stick and his creepy segmented tail. I love the little horns, the little devil horns coming off of his forehead before you get to his full horns. I love all of the cute and cuddly little rats that are crawling all over him. He is a masterpiece of a model. And I'm hoping, it seems like, because I think this guy is just as good, if not better, than the Flesh Eater Court guy, the big scary guy. Like, are we gonna get one of those for every faction? Like, that would be really cool. But oh, he is so cool. Oh, and he's got hooves. He's got the hooves. Yeah, this guy is amazing. Every one of these Skaven models is incredible. Kritok Foulblade, just a fat rat hero with his little rat minions that are like under his skirt, like the little kids under mom's skirt. They're super cute. I love. Okay, so it gives a little bit of lore in this article, and his sword apparently has the captive soul of another Skaven leader, and so he has to make deals with his sword to win battles. So he has to be like, sword, I will release your soul a week early if you will help me win this battle. And then he has to bargain with his sword. That's so great. He's super cool. I love a good fat guy. The Master Molder with his, his stick reminds me of like the Man Catcher from, I think it's a Necromunda kit, but his is called the Thing Catcher. His little Thing Catcher stick. Oh, he is so cool. I didn't even notice like the little friend that's just stuck in his side that's helping him to reload his gun. His just gnarly teeth. All of his just tumors that are on his back. I really like this guy. He's super cool. I don't know what branch of Skaven I like the most, because I do like the guns, but I also kind of do like the abominations. And I could go either way for sure. Then we've got the Storm Vermin, which I think is the only thing I guessed correctly of what was coming new for Skaven. Just some classic fancy clan rats. These guys are the actual like rat soldiers. You know, clan rats are just rats with daggers, but these guys are like proper formation. They have tactics, they know what they're doing, and they're probably still gonna get absolutely demolished by my tree lords, like soldier guys. They are really, really cool. And then the Arc Warlock. I heard this is the only model I've heard any negativity about. I like it a lot. I think he looks really cool. I like the steampunky vibes he has. He does remind me a lot of like Mantic's Vermine faction for their tabletop game. Like a little bit more steampunky than a lot of the other things for the Skaven, but I like him a lot. It's just his big power claw and his boilers that are all over him. And his spear, which is also a gun. And his spear gun that also has like a motorcycle like grip that you just squeeze that and the goo comes out. You don't want to squeeze things with goo coming out, or maybe you do. The Warlock Galvanier. I feel like I want to say I've seen this guy before, like way back. They were showing off some Skaven stuff, and maybe this guy was in one of those like silhouette-y things where Game Jackson was like, what model do you think this is gonna be? And then 2 years later, you get to see the miniature. But this guy, he might be my favorite just because he's just a simple rat guy with a big old gun, and he is enjoying that big old gun. He's not overly embellished. He's actually very plain. He just got a big fancy gun. And who doesn't like a big fancy gun? Oh, and then these guys are my favorite. These guys are my absolute favorite. The Acolyte Glabadiers. They're not Bombardiers. They are Glabadiers. Oh, I love their gas masks so much. The little lenses of their eyes on the gas masks makes them look positively adorable. And then their weapon of choice is balls. They got energy balls that they just like throw like snowballs at the enemy. Oh, these guys are so cool. I love that each one of their packs is slightly unique, and their gas masks, and they're all covered up in their robes. They look so good. Oh, even going with the snowball analogy. There's like the rat in the back. He does look like he's packing a snowball, getting that thing ready to throw. It's so much fun. I've been really enjoying Spearhead, and I don't know if I'm actually going to like grow my Skaven into a proper Warhammer army, but I'm definitely buying these. They're not in Spearhead. I'm buying these guys because they just look like they're gonna be so much fun to paint. They're so cool. The Warp Spark Weapon Battery, which can be built as, oh my gosh, it has so many options. It can be built as guns, just classic Gatling guns. It can be built as like flamer weapons, I guess goo weapons, or it can be warp lightning weapons. But yeah, all three of them look fantastic. See, this is the tricky thing. Like, do I like the look of the guns more? Do I like the look of like the lightning caster weapons more? Or do I like just the goo guns? I mean, who doesn't love a goo gun? In Spearhead, you get to take the rat ogres and they come with one of the goo guns. It's a really good gun. The rat ogres are like the linchpin of the Skaven in Spearhead. They're really, really good. And if they die early on, it's like, it definitely puts you on the back foot. But the goo guns are really fun. I never get to use torrent weapons in 40K because they're almost universally bad. Even with Overwatch, like unless it's a land raider, you're really not getting your money's worth out of that stratagem. But it seems like an Age of Sigmar. Just goo, flames, torrent weapons, they seem really, really fun. The Warp Grinder, which is just one giant piece of warp stone, kind of in the shape of a screw, and apparently it just drills straight through anything. In the article, it says that it makes short work of steam tanks, mega gargants, and charging maw gruntas. It's hard to believe. It's hard to believe that this one little thing is gonna be taking out mega gargants, but I don't know, maybe it is like strength 20, rend 4 or something. Maybe it does have an absolutely wicked stat line. And the Doom Flayers. This kit has me a little bit interested in what we're gonna see, because if you look closely at the two Doom Flayers, they're the same Doom Flayer. Like if you look at the scratches and the dents, it's the exact same thing. The only thing different is the two riders. So that makes me think it's going to be an easy to build kit, and easy to build kits are usually shoved together in boxes of other stuff. So are we gonna get like a Skaven expansion battle box? Or is this just a weird situation where like you're just gonna get a kit off the shelf and it's gonna be an easy to build? Games Workshop doesn't really do that anymore. There's a couple of kits like the Primaris Outrider ATV and the Servo Strike turrets, but those were made way back, like when 8th edition launched. So it is confusing to me. It could also be that just they didn't paint as many as come in a box, or maybe that they just photoshopped it to make it a little bit easier on the painting department to get the article ready to go. But yeah, that does have me like, why, what am I looking at here? What exactly is coming? Are Doomflayers units of 2? Or are they units of 3? I could see them as maybe units of 3 because they're not big. I mean, look at those rats. Those are regular rats. So these are small models, maybe on 50mm bases, but probably more 40mm bases. It's a little hard to tell the exact scale, but that's the one thing I noticed in this article that has me a little bit concerned. Like, because it looks like it's gonna be an easy to build kit, but Games Workshop doesn't do that, or they do it in different ways. I mean, if they come out with another box that's just absolutely full of amazing Skaven kits, I'd probably buy it. But yeah, all of this Skaven stuff is super cool. But speaking of things that are super cool, Old World is getting a new almanac, and it is for Warriors of Chaos. I've never liked Warriors of Chaos. I never really got Warriors of Chaos. And even just looking at the new battalion box, it's just a bunch of the same exact dude. It is though, it's the same exact dude. Some of them are the same exact dude on horses. Also, they're all the same horse. Like, they just only have black horses because they're evil chaos. This is something that I feel like almost all fantasy universes, in my opinion, get like wrong with the bad guys. How come the bad guys are always just a mirror of the good guy? Like, we see this in Warhammer, and we see this in Star Wars, and we see this like in Lord of the Rings. Like every single time, the bad guys are like super stoic monk, like, ooh, we're the baddies, but we're also like, why wouldn't they be jovial warlords, like dripping with gold and riches, eating the finest foods because they can steal it and nobody can stop them? I feel like that would be what I want to see out of Chaos. And that's kind of is what Slaanesh is. But Hedonites of Slaanesh feel chaos. They feel like they are just living their best lives, and it's all going great. Where these guys, is it fun trekking across like Arctic landscapes in heavy looking armor and furs? And it's just like, what are they, what is going home after a battle look like to these guys? I don't know. I've never gotten Warriors of Chaos, but there is one singular model amongst all of the old new things that they've shown off, and that is the Chaos Dwarf Hell Cannon. The Chaos Dwarves. They existed for just like a little bit of time. They're really cool. It does not look like we're getting Chaos Dwarves back, but I have a dwarf army for Old World, just mostly bought from random people I know in eBay who happen to collect stuff in Warhammer Fantasy Battles, and that is the way to do it, by the way. Like, don't buy the new things from Games Workshop. If there's like one kit that like has a ton of nostalgia and you're just like, I've always wanted this kit, then I would say get that. But don't buy like 30-year-old slaves to darkness plastic models for modern prices to play this game. You can get that stuff. You can find it. The hunting, the treasure hunt of trying to put one of these armies together, I think is where the fun is. Not in just seeing your wallet go to 0 and then the boxes arrive and you put them together and they're old and annoying to put together. But the Chaos Dwarf Hell Cannon is really cool, really nicely painted. The Chaos Dwarves, they had like a train thing. Like it was a bunch of different segments and you put them together and you could have all of these different like hell guns. It was like a ridiculously cool, vicious army. Again, that's a thing. Like the Disciples of Chaos or Warriors of Chaos are just all the same frowny face guy. Chaos Dwarves are cool. They're dwarves. They love fire and guns and flames and throwing souls at the enemy. Like, that's an actual thing. That's interesting. Chaos players are gonna be so mad at me. But it's never appealed to me much. But the Chaos Dwarf canon is really, really cool. I would love to see more Chaos Dwarf stuff. If they showed off in a full Chaos Dwarf army, I would be tempted. I would be tempted. It would also be really cool to have the good guy dwarves that I painted like green and normal, and then the Chaos Dwarves that would be all chaosy and on fire. Every single little tiny, they look like the yellow M&M from the M&M's commercials. Just these little guys on fire. That would be really, really cool. But yeah, tons and tons of cool new miniatures and some returning old miniatures that are cool to somebody from Games Workshop. A really cool week of releases, and they're going to be showing off a little something something tomorrow. And I am super perplexed what it is. You would think it's something real juicy, because literally this week we got the previews for Codex Blood Angels and new miniatures. So are they going to show off something cooler than that? Or is it going to be something lame and I'm going to feel really silly for watching the Twitch stream and being like, well, that was an entire hour to find out that, yes, in fact, we're going to get a 4th box for season 3 of Kill Team. That's my guess right now. It's just going to be the last box of Kill Team season 3. But yeah, let me know in the comments below what you guys think it is and why I am incredibly wrong about Warriors of Chaos, but I'm not. I am right. I know my opinion is wrong, but it's the Chaos Dwarves are cool. Thanks for watching.